The transmission arrived on a Tuesday, an anomaly buried in the static of the deep space monitoring array at the Lunar Research Outpost. Dr. Elias Voss had spent 12 years listening to the silence between the stars, sifting through cosmic white noise for the faintest whisper of intelligence. But this was different. A signal not random, not natural, but structured, repeating in a sequence that defied all known astronomical phenomena. And it was coming from the moon. At first, he thought it was interference, a glitch in the equipment. But when he cross-referenced the data with the orbital satellites and the surface seismographs, the truth was undeniable. The signal originated from beneath the lunar crust, deep within the labyrinthine caverns that had remained unexplored since the last manned mission decades ago. The frequency was low, almost subsonic, a rhythmic pulse like the slow, deliberate heartbeat of something vast and dormant. Voss played the recording for his team, watching their faces twist in unease. The sound was wrong, not just in its origin, but in its texture. It carried a weight, a resonance that seemed to press against the skull, as if the vibrations were not just auditory but tactile, slithering into the mind like tendrils of some unseen entity. Dr. Lin Chen, the outpost xenobiologist, was the first to voice what they all felt. That isn't just a signal, it's a language. The higher-ups at Earthside Command dismissed it as seismic activity, a trick of the regolith shifting in the vacuum. But Voss knew better. He had spent too many nights staring at the pockmarked surface of the moon, feeling the weight of its silent gaze. There was something beneath the dust and rock, something that had been waiting. And now it was speaking. Against orders, he assembled a small expedition. Chen, geologist Marcus Rourke, and engineer Priya Desai to investigate the source. Their rover crawled across the barren wasteland toward the coordinates, the signal growing stronger with every kilometer. The closer they got, the more the static in their comms intensified, warping their voices into guttural, alien sounds. Then they found the entrance. It was not a natural formation. The smooth, arching doorway, half buried in the lunar soil, was too precise, too symmetrical. The edges were lined with glyphs, symbols that made no sense yet somehow felt familiar, as if they had been glimpsed in the periphery of nightmares. The metal, if it was metal, was cold to the touch, colder than the vacuum around them, as though it siphoned heat from whatever came near. Desai's hands shook as she scanned the structure. This isn't possible, the composition. It's not any alloy we know, the atomic structure is. Wrong. Voss ignored her, he stepped inside. The interior was a nightmare of non-Euclidean geometry. Corridors twisting in impossible angles, surfaces that seemed to shift when not directly observed. The walls pulsed faintly, as though breathing, and the air, though there should have been none, carried a scent like ozone and rotting meat. The signal was louder here, vibrating through their bones, a sound that was less heard and more felt, a subsonic thrumming that resonated with something primal in the human brain. Then they found the chamber. At its center stood a monolith, blacker than the void, its surface swallowing the light. The glyphs here were different, arranged in spiraling patterns that made the eyes water. Chen reached out, her fingers brushing the surface, and then she screamed, not in pain, but in revelation. Her voice came out fractured, half human, as she babbled in tongues, her words dissolving into choked sobs. It's not a message, she gasped. It's a key, and it's opening something. Rourke grabbed her, pulling her back, but it was too late. The monolith was changing. The blackness rippled and something emerged, not an object, not a creature, a hole, a tear in reality itself, a fissure through which something peered back. Voss felt his mind unravel as he stared into it, as the thing beyond the veil pressed against the fragile fabric of existence. It had no shape, no form that could be comprehended, only a vast, hungry presence, an intelligence so alien that the mere act of perceiving it shattered human understanding. The moon was not a moon, it was a prison. And they had just woken the inmate, The last thing Voss heard, before the screaming began, was the sound of the signal shifting, no longer a call, but a laugh. Back on Earth, telescopes observed a new crater forming on the lunar surface. Deep within it, something stirred, and the stars began to go out, one by one.